Hey everybody, welcome back to Chat and Chat. My name is Miguel.
I'm Josh.
And we are watching Raw 1. And this is part 3. And if somehow or another you missed part 1 and part 2, check out the link below because it's there and you can go back and watch those and then come back here and watch it and it's in the right order. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, share, and like button पर तप मारो.
नो मॉम वापस चलो हमें जीवन की जरूरत है
हमें नहीं जीवन को हमारी जरूरत है
पर हम जा कर रहे
Mm-hmm. They made that one kind of obvious.
Gotcha. सोनिया और प्रतीक इस गेम का हिस्सा नहीं है लेकिन तुमने बना दिया कहाँ है वो सोनिया मेरे कंट्रोल में
Yeah, mind control.
ट्रेन में है जो अपने स्टेशन पर नहीं रुकेगी जीवन तो किसे चुनेगा सोनिया या लूसिफर तुम्हारी ट्रेन स्टेशन से निकल चुकी है मैं ज्यादा देर इंतजार नहीं करूंगा जीवन
Maybe call Chitti and get help. You go after one and he goes after the other one. Whoa. A cool move. Oh, okay. See, he's not as good as Chitti. You remember, Chitti can run along the side of the train.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, okay, there
There
he goes. He must have remembered. He's got his
Chitti called him on his cell phone.
He's like watching from afar. He's like, dude, what are you doing? This is how you're supposed to do it. Use those magnetic shoes. Does he have to like electrocute her or something to get her brain rewired?
Hey, we've been there. Better hope it stops.
Yeah, put those. Yeah. Oh. Make the birds fly away. Oh no.
Oh no, he's breaking the building. Uh-oh.
Oh, it went all the way through. Wow.
That's actually not how the lines ran. They ran horizontal to the station, but...
Right. Yeah. Yeah, how would that have worked? It would have had to like pop up and go perpendicular. Oh, Ganpati. Yeah, that's
It's a little catastrophic.
Yeah, that's gonna be a little hard to repair that.
उसे कुछ नहीं होगा
तुम मेरे प्रतीक को बचा लोगे ना
Of course.
I do like that sort of effect, like those wounds. Look pretty cool.
Super juice, supercharge. Where'd he go?
Yeah, poof?
Did he cubize and go through the airwaves like the other?
Oh, maybe.
जब तक तुम्हारा हाथ मेरे पास है तुम प्रतीक को नहीं मार सकते क्योंकि अगर हमारे हाथ हमारे सिस्टम से जुड़े हुए ना हो ना तुम मर सकते हो ना मैं
Nifty. Oh, yeah. All right. I mean, the kid was kicking his butt in the video game, so, you know, maybe he's a better fighter than just the AI. Starts at level, okay, starts at level 1.
स्टैचू के पीछे जाओ जीवन.
Oh!
मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ. बस थोड़ा सा सर घूम रहा है.
That was a cool. Now, was it like this guy's upgrade or something that gave him all the tattoos? It's like the tattoos is power up?
Fire!
कियाना.
नीचे.
हाँ?
Oh, what? What?
ये राउंड क्रॉस करने के लिए हमें सिर्फ 2 मिनट तक जिंदा रहना.
Well, he does survive though, right? I mean, because the only way to kill him is at level 3?
Right.
Like, both can't die. Oof. Yeah, pancaked his head.
No, जीवन. Do it my way.
Yeah, that kid must have had like some classes, judo training or something.
लड़ो मत, सिर्फ बचो. No, 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 don't.
Yeah, that one looked like it.
Energy levels low.
Go, जीवन, भागो.
Just go stick your finger in a socket real quick,
Yeah.
right? And get a quick charge.
जीवन उसके मेन पार्ट को पकड़ो. मेन का मेन पार्ट.
What? He's an android though, like.
ये क्या कर रहे हो, जीवन? I don't know.
Level 2 clear. G1 survives.
Was it just stalling tactic
Yeah.
to do that? Like make him wonder what he was doing?
हम इंसानों की दुनिया में भी उसी मुकाम पे पहुंच गए जहाँ पे हमने गेम छोड़ा था. एक बंदूक, एक गोली और एक चांस है जीवन.
फिर हम राहन को मारेंगे कैसे?
लड़ाई गोलियों से नहीं, दिल से जीती जाती है. अब हमारा हाथ हमारी कमजोरी नहीं, हमारी ताकत बने.
Stronger now, I guess. I don't know. He's got new energy.
Anti-hard gun activated.
It's gonna be like high noon, like quick draw.
Maybe.
What the heck?
जीवन, जीवन.
Oh, okay. He took it out because that was the only way to kill him. But one bullet, right?
Yep.
I'm on.
हम तैयार हैं.
Now he's just gotta aim it properly.
Lucifer भूल गया. उसे एक ऐसा विलन चाहिए था जिसे कभी मार नहीं सकते. You should be careful what you wish for, kid. क्योंकि अब तुम्हारे पास एक नहीं, 10 है.
What?
ढूंढो मुझे जीवन. और अगर असली रावण नहीं सुना तो गेम ओवर. इनमें से असली कौन सा?
मैंने गेम आज तक नहीं खेला है.
मुझे छोड़ो जीवन. मुझे बुरा मत सोचो.
Okay, if he had that face the whole time, like that's something of a nightmare, man.
Yeah, let's see.
नहीं, ये नहीं हो सकता. अपा कभी बुराई को जीतने नहीं देते. इस गेम में कुछ तो होगा. अपा ने कुछ तो छोड़ा होगा.
Oh, the shadow.
The shadow. Yeah, you got it.
फोल्डर में एक आखिरी कहावत है.
क्या?
बुराई संग जो मेल रचाया, फिर कभी ना छूटे उसका साया.
साया?
Yeah, only one of them had a shadow.
असली रावण वो है जिसका साया है. शूट!
I thought something was wrong with the gun. I was like, what was that? Boom.
Yeah.
What? What is that all about?
I don't understand it either.
He had to absorb the dude?
So he could never become anything else?
गेम ओवर प्रतीक. अब मुझे जाना होगा.
नो जीवन, ये तो प्लान था ही नहीं.
अगर हमें रावण को हमेशा के लिए मारना है, तो मुझे रावण को लेकर उसी दुनिया में वापस जाना पड़ेगा.
And never turn that game on again.
और सोनिया से कहना, हम दोनों ने मिलके रावण के भाई का मोचड़ कर दिया.
Oh, that's traumatizing to watch.
Yeah.
His dad disintegrate in front of, I mean, the likeness of his dad to disintegrate in front of him.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Oh man, this kid is just playing with fire now.
प्रतीक कैसे है? सारा दिन कंप्यूटर पे लगा रहता है. कहता है जीवन के हाथ को रिवाइव करेगा.
प्रतीक! Coming, mom!
I'm on.
Oh. Yeah, but he said he went away for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Mom! जीवन back! मैंने आपसे कहा था जीवन वापस आ सकता है. वो यहाँ है. He's back!
Materialize. Yeah, you're gonna materialize somewhere.
Oh, I was hoping his eyes would like flash red. They had to leave it open just in
Yeah.
case they could make a sequel or something like that, right?
Yeah. Oh, we're seeing some of the stunts.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of wire work in this movie, obviously. Wow. That stunt guy was like flying.
On wires hanging from a crane. Oh, wow.
Oh, that was a cool effect.
Yeah.
The thing. They built a whole rig for that. The car spinning around. That was a cool scene too when they're like throwing the cars at each other.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Not one of my most favorite movies. It had a few spots that were pretty good. Lots of great special effects. Certainly a lot of great stunts and so forth. But there's just an underlying element that is missing, and I'm not quite sure what it is. Some of the acting was off a bit. It seemed a little just, ugh.
That's your official reviews.
Yeah. You know, the Raw 1 was actually, I think, the best character out of all of them, kind of.
Okay.
All right.
The villain.
The villain. The
Yeah.
villain himself was...
Because
I
he
think-
didn't really have much of the acting part. It was mostly just like, I mean, there was some acting there, but they played it mostly low key.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a big highlight until more towards the end, like the second half.
Yep.
So maybe that's why you liked him more, because he didn't have as much screen time.
Maybe not so much screen time. Maybe he couldn't, kind of goof up or be weird. Yeah, and there were a lot of weird little things throughout that. I'm just like, you know, the neighbor, and I'm like, just stuff like that. That, you know, I was like going, I think they're trying to be funny here, but it's kind of fallen a little flat and a little creepy. Proverbs, I thought, was maybe one of the interesting elements, because they came in lots of different places, and I thought that was actually kind of cool.
So what would you rate it though?
All right.
Pins and needles.
Pins and needles. Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
5?
Well, I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry for those that maybe really love this particular movie. But it just, for me, it was okay, but it was just very middle of the road.
Let's think about it a little bit. It's been about 13 years since this released.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe a lot of the people that were recommending this and saying like, hey, watch this. I mean, 13 years ago, if they're like 26 now, 13 years ago, they were 13.
Yeah. And
if I was watching this when I was 13, maybe, you know, like maybe it'd be cool. Like I said in another review, I think it was like Krish or something like that, I liked Warriors of Virtue, and I would recommend someone to like watch that. So if there's a reaction channel out there, someone watch Warriors of Virtue. And I know like I sound like a broken record with this. I mean, it'd be the same thing, you know, as this, but yet I have really fond memories with it. Oh, let's say I'm gonna be pretty fair though here. I don't know why they made their characters South Indian. So if anybody knows, I thought maybe it was going to come up somewhere in the story to give a reason why they made them South Indian. Because like a lot of those things that they were like talking about and making like all those jokes about the food and all that sort of stuff, but it didn't come off as comical. Like I don't know what they were trying to do with all of those jokes and all that sort of stuff, but all of it was flat. And the entire time it was making me wonder like, why? Like, why are you doing this? And like, that was just weird and it was off-putting. So that whole part, once they got past that, then I was like, okay, at least that's done and over with. The visual effects for the most part were pretty good. There were a couple times where the tracking felt a little weird. For example, when they were doing that split screen where Kareena Kapoor's character was holding her head, you know, like of herself. If you watch that one back, you'll see that the hand is like kind of like rotating a little bit and is a little off, but still relatively solid. What I really liked were the wounds, where you could like see like the inside of all the electricity and all that sort of stuff. Really interesting. For the most part, the visual effects were really stunning. The special effects were awesome. The explosions and all the car things and stuff that they were doing for real. Like they were actually flipping.
Let's throw a few cars around.
Yeah.
Just as fun.
And, you know, it was a special effect. They actually did that. They like blew up these cars to flip them in the air.
Air cannons.
So I thought that was really cool. Now, about the acting, I agree. Like, it was just super cringy. Like, I don't know. Like, okay, maybe they made this movie like super kid level.
Maybe.
And maybe that's why two grown men watching this movie is just like,
I tried to release my inner child. He said, no, it's okay. It's all right.
No, and so it really felt, so people said, you know, Koi Mil Gaya is a kid's movie. They're like, oh, it's a kid's movie. This one felt way more of a kid's movie. Like, I don't know. Like every dialogue that they were trying to be funny and all that sort of stuff, it was like there was so many like cringy things that they were doing with like him touching her, and then during that fight scene, and then the main part thing, and then it's like you're on fire, and then he's like, what? And it's like the crotch is on fire. Oh,
and then the whole pat down at security. I'm like,
oh, that was so weird.
Yeah,
like what the heck?
Yeah,
it was like some telenovela thing that the dude was like all into him and stuff, and I'm just like, okay, what are you trying to do here? Like, why is that needed? And then, you know, so the pacing felt like super weird in some parts. Some parts were like really fun and like, okay, this is, you know, I get it. It's like moving the story along, and like you need some parts where he's integrating with the family and all that sort of stuff. But the whole like train, him getting to the front of the train just felt like
very slow.
Very slow, even though he was running
like
super fast and doing things. It's like, dude, come on. I think it's a fair comparison if we start comparing this to Yildirim, which was Rajnikant's movie Robot, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's fair because they came out relatively one after the other. So this one was after, obviously, because Chetty made a cameo here. And
so there was this cameo, but they didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, but I mean, they did a lot of cameos in here, and I think they were like giving like callbacks because obviously, if this one came out after Yildirim did, then people would already make the comparison, so they wanted to get ahead of it maybe. And they're like, you know what, people are going to do this, so let's just throw them in there and then have some callbacks to that. But they also did a few, like with Priyanka Chopra and Sanjay Dutt's like Khalnayak and and all those sort of things. So they tried to like throw some in there as like little Easter egg sort of things, which I thought was really cool. And I wish they would have done more of that because that was really exciting to see. I liked the beginning intro like of his dream and stuff because it didn't have to be real. It was fun. And it was like so over the top that they leaned into it. I could watch a whole movie that was just like B movie. There's one movie that is just a big spoof movie, and that's what I was hoping this was going to be. In that dream sequence, I thought it was a spoof. Like this was going to be one of those satire type movies. But then once he woke up from the dream, I realized then it's like, oh no, you guys are serious. But so there's a spoof movie called Kung Pao. Have you seen it? It's like it's spoof on like karate kung fu movies,
yes,
and it's so funny because it's over the top ridiculous.
I'm seeing kind of glimpses of it, and I can't remember it all. But
so in one scene he's like karate fighting like a cow. And then the cow is like fighting, and they're like doing chop, chop, chop.
Yes.
And it's a really fun because what made it so good is it was over the top and they leaned into it. They're like, look, this is a big spoof and we know it is, so let's go for it. This one seemed like, hey, we're going to like dabble in this, but then we're going to try to be serious at the same time. I don't know. It didn't land right with me. So there were some cool things about this. In the end, I guess I was expecting so much more from the synopsis. When I read the synopsis, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Characters coming out of like a game and then fighting each other and all that sort of stuff. It
always bites when the synopsis is better than the movie.
Yeah, that's true. And I was hoping this was going to take on more of like that movie that I mentioned earlier. I don't know what year it came out, so maybe it could have been after this, before this. I have no idea. But it is called Gamer. And if you guys want to watch a really cool Gerard Butler movie, it is Gamer, and it's a sweet movie. Some of the jokes, though, that they were saying and some of the words that they were saying, I still can't see that as like a kid's movie either. So it was weird because they were making all these like innuendo jokes and euphemisms for things that we both knew exactly what they were saying.
Right. And even the cuss words. You were like saying that.
Oh, well, I mean, the cuss words weren't like bad, the curse words, but they were just translated kind of strange.
I'm like,
and then she's like, "Kyaba kwaskaru," and then, but it translated as like rot, and I'm like, no, it's like, what rubbish.
Buttercups, buttercups them.
But, it's like she was saying, like, what rubbish are you talking or something like that, but, they translated it as like rot. I'm like, what? So the subtitles weren't great, but I don't think these were the subtitles of the official subtitles. Like that's the impression I got because they were also swapping the forms. This is the only copy that we had, so maybe there are better subtitles out there. So you can't really judge it for the subtitles, but that's when knowing Hindi comes in handy because then when you hear some of the words they're saying, you actually understand what it is they were saying and not like whatever they were translating down there because I just quit. I'm just like, I'm not even reading that crap.
Thanks, leave it for me.
Yeah, I guess I have to give it a rating, but that was my fair and honest review. Not saying that, and I said there were some good things about it, but then for the most part, I was just like really cringing the whole time and I was just like, what is, like, every time I thought the movie couldn't get cringy, it just did. And I'm like, how can you top that? Oh, well, yep, some inappropriate groping going on now. Let's see. But, again, if you guys like this movie, it could be the same nostalgia thing that, like, oh, no, 13 years ago, man, I remember that, and I loved it, and it was just way ahead of its time. Maybe, but I'm watching it in 2024, so I'm going to give it a 2024 rating of No, it was entertaining. I was about to give it a 4, but it is more entertaining than that. Like 4, I would give something that I would actually want to turn off. You and I, we've watched a movie before where I've actually paused and thought, like, do we finish this movie?
Yeah.
That I would give a 4 to. And I almost did that in the beginning because I'm like, oh, dude, I don't know if I could do the whole movie. I was this close from doing a 4 pause.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to call it, a 4 pause. But I can't go that low on it, so I think I'm going to meet you at the 5.
You know,
5 or 6. Let's go with 6, just so I don't copy you.
Okay, all right. There were, you know, it was kind of interesting. A couple of times I was thinking, do I want to finish this?
Oh, really? You were thinking that too? Like, I've seen you walk out of a movie before, though.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So far, the lowest rating you've ever given a movie was Kill.
Yes, that's true.
You started at a 5, but as you kept talking, you knocked points off,
Yeah.
and I think you whittled your way down to a 2.
Yeah.
And then, literally, before I could do the sign off, you stood up and you dropped your headphones and you just left.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad. No, and it
For you,
wasn't
I like Kill.
Yeah.
So I liked it, but Miguel did not.
Yes.
So you were going to walk out on this one?
No,
What
I
part?
wasn't-
I'm curious.
I
Like,
wasn't
or
gonna
turn
walk
off
out.
and stop watching?
It was just, you know,
Do you remember what part it was?
I don't know. It was just an overall gut thing of
This movie's not going to get better?
It's
That's
not
your
gonna-
gut?
That
Your
was
gut's
kind of
telling you?
that was kind of what my gut was saying, and it was like going, "How valuable is my time?"
Well,
I mean, I'm glad I went all the way through it. There are some things, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
there was a few redeeming sort of
you
things,
got to finish
but
it.
again, it was just the overall just vibe to it that I don't know, just could not get off that vibe.
Okay.
And the other thing is I was finding that it was harder and harder for me to almost react in a way because there were things that I'm just like
Yeah.
I'm processing it and I'm
I
like,
noticed like the second
"Oh."
half, you weren't really
Yeah.
discussing anything.
Yeah,
like,
because
about-
things were just, and some things I won't say, you know, just because I'm good.
Say it.
Well,
That's what people want to know.
oh,
What are you
man.
thinking? You gotta
well,
say
some
it.
of them were, you know, not.
We'll bleep it out if you say something
Yeah,
bad.
that's exactly. This
Wait,
would have
you
been.
were gonna say
there were
something
a
that we had
couple
to
of one
bleep?
that I was like, yeah.
That
so
you're gonna like say something that we would have had to
I-
bleep? Wow.
It might have offended some people.
Oh.
So, okay. And I couldn't comment on other things because I'm just like going, okay, they're fighting. Okay, that's a cool stunt. Great. Cool stunt. Another cool, ooh, nice effect, you know, yeah, blah. You know, but
Little
I'm like
cheap.
going, it's very cheap.
Okay.
So I'm like going, not really, I don't think people want to hear that sort of stuff from me.
Yeah. All right, that's fair.
Yeah.
And we always tell you guys we're going to be fair. And that was our rating. But again, maybe if I was 13, I would have had a very different rating. And, you know, 13 years ago, if I was watching this, I don't know. But that is a 2024 rating.
I'm trying to think of 13, a
13-year-old you?
13-year-old
Dude,
me.
what were movies like even when you were 13? This
geez.
was way better
So,
than movies that when you were 13.
So I think Logan's Run, the original
Oh.
Logan's Run.
Okay.
The original Logan's Run.
Well,
And that I remember the theater I went to. I went with my brother and my mom because it was one of those that you had to be a certain age and because of the rating and so forth. On one hand, this is a really great movie, but on another hand, this is kind of a cheesy movie.
yeah. Guys, I mean, now that we're just like throwing movies out there, now one that had, you know, not the greatest of budget, that was also kind of like funny and cheesy. Have you ever seen, I think it was in the 80s, Big Trouble in Little China?
Oh, wow.
Big Trouble in Little China. It's
yeah.
really good. Okay, so we're getting off topic now, but there's a few recommendations for you guys. So if
Yeah.
you're curious, like, hey, like, what should I watch and want to watch some classics and stuff, you got Logan's Run and you got Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
And if you haven't, from the Krish review, again, one more time, Warriors of Virtue, Go and Cringe
You're
Fest.
going to have to find that for me so that
We
I can
will.
watch
We'll
it.
watch it.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, that was it. I wonder what you all thought about it. Were you maybe around, if you recommended this, how old were you when you liked this?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Tell us a little why you like
Maybe
it.
they're like into the whole gaming thing.
Yeah,
and stuff,
and that
you know,
I could
maybe.
see. this is a thought that I had that I did have at one point. There was an element suddenly where I'm like going, oh my God, this is just real life Tron. Okay, do you remember the movie Tron, the original Tron?
No, I didn't even really watch the remake. I tried to watch the remake and I fell asleep during it. Like, I don't know, it was just like pretty boring.
Okay.
Like even the remake Tron, and then the original, I just can't imagine. I know the music. I actually like the soundtrack.
The
of the music.
soundtrack was very good
of the movie, of the original.
Yes,
but I got to tell you, it just looks super boring. Sorry, maybe I'll watch it one day.
And that was the thing, was it was a little boring. It was
okay.
Tron, the original Tron, and this I made the comment. The Tron cycle was when they were driving the Tron cycle early on.
Yeah,
and
but
then
again, with the whole cameos and like callbacks and all that sort of stuff, I bet they did it on purpose.
Probably.
Like, because they were doing tons of like little video game tropes and stuff like that throughout the entire thing.
Yep, and maybe that's
so
what triggered it to make me think again.
Probably.
Oh, Tron,
Well, again, let us know your rating and why and what your comments are on this movie. I am very excited to read these ones. And
I'm going to read them too. This one is one I will go through and I'll read comments.
You should read all of them.
I'm going to try.
On every movie.
You know I try.
Yeah. All right. And if you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button, the bell icon, a like button par tappar maro.